Good morning, students. This is Miss Kyati Dwarkadas presenting Climate, a virtual class. Last time, you studied about the climatic controls, and today we're going to look at some of the factors affecting the climate of India. The first factor that affects the climate of India is latitude. So what is latitude? Once again, remember the song, the karaoke? Latitude, longitude. That one? Yes. So latitude is the distance a place lies north or south of the equator and is measured by an imaginary line. Now look at this map. The globe is visible to you in the center with a map of India. I will just try and point it out to you. So look at this map of India, children, over here. This particular map. And while you're looking at it, I'd like to draw your attention to it. In this particular area, the Tropic of Cancer passes through the middle of the country, right from the Run of Kutch in the west to Mizoram in the east. India's climate has characteristics of tropical as well as subtropical climate. Why? Because the part of India lying to the south of the tropic falls in the tropical zone, between the equator and the tropic. Whereas that part of India lying to the north of the tropic lies in the subtropical zone. So, as latitude increases, the intensity of solar energy decreases. Due to the curvature of the Earth, the amount of solar energy varies according to latitude. And as I told you, the tropic passes through the middle of the country from the Run of Kutch to Mizoram. Almost half of the country lies to the south of the tropic, in the tropical area, and the rest remains in the subtropical area. Therefore, India's climate has characteristics of both tropical as well as subtropical. Now let's take a quick look at what are these kind of zones that we are talking about. The tropical zone is between 23.5 degrees north and 23.5 degrees south of the equator. And the sun's rays are most intense and the temperatures are always warm there. The temperate zones are between 23.5 degrees to 66.5 degrees north and the same degrees south of the equator. The sun's rays strike the earth at smaller angles than near the equator. And polar zones are 66.5 degrees north and south of the equator and the poles. The sun's rays strike the earth at a very, very small angle in the polar zones. Then we have highland climates, which in general are cooler and wetter than nearby areas at lower elevations. Then here we can see the major climatic zones very clearly and categorically depicted through a diagram, which is not to be copied. You can also see this, which I think most of you study in class 7, I believe, where you do the zones, class 6 or class 7. Okay, let's now talk about altitude. Temperature decreases with height. Due to thin air, places in the mountains are cooler than places on the plains. Now look at Agra and Darjeeling. Agra and Darjeeling are located on the same latitude, but temperature of January in Agra is only 16 degrees, whereas it is just 4 degrees in Darjeeling. Now this is a bit moved map, so the latitudes look different. But yes, Agra and Darjeeling are more or less on the same latitude. You can check it out on your atlas. And this, if you look at the picture to the left, I had told you in my last video, as you move up, there is a decrease in temperature. So the lower altitude has increased temperature, the higher altitudes have decrease in temperature. As elevation increases, the air gets cooler because of the energy drawn from the surroundings. Now, in the factors that affect climate, we still have some more factors we're going to deal with, like water bodies. Large bodies of water, like lakes and oceans, have an important effect on the temperature of an area, because the temperature of the water body influences the temperature of the air above it. Then there's something called atmospheric circulation. Global winds are other factors that influence climate because they distribute heat and moisture around the earth. Natural processes like solar activity and earth's motions or motions of the earth also affect the climate. Human impact also has major impact or a change on effect on climatic changes. Like your greenhouse effect is a natural warming of both the Earth's lower atmosphere and the Earth's surface from solar radiation being absorbed and emitted by the atmosphere. And global warming, increased levels of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. Global temperatures have increased because of this. This increase is called global warming. Yes. So until I meet you next time in my next video, I'm sure you will have read through these points in your textbook. I've gone beyond your textbook, so wherever I've gone beyond your textbook, you can make notes in pencil in your textbook. And yes, do keep revising, do keep reading, stay home, stay safe, stay masked and gloved, look after yourselves. Thank you and have a nice day, children.